This just in, zero waste living is not all about swaps. Now I'm sure you already knew that. But zero waste living is also about changing our otherwise wasteful habits. So let's talk about the zero waste habits that I implement on a daily basis and some that I truly miss in this overall list of my favorite zero waste swaps that I personally love to do. Hello everyone, it's Emma and welcome back to my channel where I talk about all sorts of things zero waste, focusing on free, easy, and fun ways to live low waste. I already know I talk fast, that intro was really fast. If that's a problem for you, there's a gear icon right down here where you can change to speed. Now notice in the intro I said the zero waste habits that I love. If you don't love these, that's totally fine. Though, let us know down below what your favorite zero waste habits are. Because not all of these are gonna work for everyone, and that's okay. But my first one is composting. I love composting for two reasons. One, you get free fertilizer, and two, I truly think it's one of the best things that we can do as individuals for the planet because food waste in the landfill is awful. It creates methane emissions, which are like 3 to 5 times worse than CO2 emissions, I think. If you want to learn more about why it's so bad for the planet, you can check out this video next. I think I manifested when I was writing this post because here in my script I said, now the way that I compost right now is not ideal. I would love to try a worm bin. Guess who got a worm bin a week later? Me. I'm the proud owner of a worm bin now. So come along with me as I learn how to use my worm bin. I'm gonna be posting it to Instagram, TikTok, and Shorts really soon. I'm picking up my worms tomorrow as I'm filming this. But for the last 2 years, I have used the Lomi composter machine, which you can check out my full thoughts on the Lomi in this video. And honestly, if you want me to make a full video on vermicomposting, let me know because I have a lot to learn. And I used the Lomi for 2 years because it was great for me living in a small space and also me living on the go. I lived in an RV for about a year and a half, and for the last 6 months using the Lomi in the apartment was just what worked best. I haven't had curbside composting ever in my eco life. And quite frankly, my only priority in the RV was to reduce the food waste that we sent to landfill and also reduce the smell in our tiny RV trash can. So we really did not want to throw food away in the RV, of course for the emissions, but also because it's a small space. It would have gotten gross real quick. I've got a lot of issues with Lomi that you can check out in that full video, and also just quite frankly the company's greenwashing. Yeah, I don't love that. But now I've got a worm bin. My wormies get to have some food. I get to hopefully have some fertilizer once they're done pooping it out. And fingers crossed I can keep the pests away. I also on my balcony have a strawberry plant and some bean plants, which I can add the fertilizer to if all goes well. It's gonna be very fun experimenting with a little teeny tiny balcony garden. Number 2, and I miss this one so much, is line drying. I do have, right here I'm looking at it, my like pop-up indoor drying rack. I use it for my period underwear. I use it other times for our other like delicate items, stuff that can't go in the drying machine, and it works just fine. But nothing hits quite like fresh dried clothes in the sun, in the wind. And also I loved going outside and doing this. It was so therapeutic to be outside, be in the yard, feel the breeze, feel the sun on my own skin, and just the stuff that it did to my clothes was perfect. We don't have the space for it here. We live in a very tiny apartment with no yard to set something up. Hang drying in this office right here, it just doesn't hit the same. So yes, you can air dry stuff in any climate and any amount of space, but I enjoy it the most when it's done outside. And while it doesn't save you the most money in the world, it will still save you some money. You use, let's say, electricity, it allows you some time outside, and even though it takes a little bit of extra time, as I said, I loved how therapeutic it was. This is a zero waste habit that I look forward to implementing again someday, hopefully soon. Now, I've always been a fan of walking and biking, but this has become a very new favorite of mine as a zero waste habit. We live in a fairly walkable and bikeable community now for the first time, and we've moved 8 times in the last 8 years. And you can learn more about what the benefits of living in a walkable community are in this video. I love the money savings, I love the exercise, I love being outside, I love saying hello to neighbors, and just exploring. I always see new things I wouldn't otherwise notice when I'm in a car. I can check out the local shops, explore the local plants, and try going on fun hidden routes. Truly, I use my car as little as possible, especially with these gas prices. Especially with these gas prices in California. We are nearly to $6 a gallon here, folks. It's not good. So I'm using my own 2 legs and my own 2 wheels as much as I can. And of course, it's better for the environment. A favorite zero waste habit that I've been doing longer than I knew it was even zero waste is upcycling. Growing up, this was even encouraged because we lived so far from the store that like if me and my siblings wanted to do a craft, my mom was like, fine, but like you gotta use what you have. So we got creative with toilet paper tubes and tissue boxes and cans, what have you. It was so much fun. So you get to keep stuff out of the landfill, you don't have to buy anything new, you can get creative and save money all at the same time. A few of my favorite things that I've upcycled are t-shirts into rugs, scraps of cotton yarn into rags, duct tape rolls into my paintbrush holder, and plenty of jars that I refill at the bulk store. And the best part is you can upcycle literally anything. You just have to get creative, and this is a great way to practice the creativity parts of your brain. Now some DIYs in the kitchen that I have always loved too is making stuff from scratch. Whether it's something crafty or something tasty in the kitchen, I will always try my hand at a DIY. At least once before ruling it out completely. For example, hummus. I've tried making my own hummus time and time again. I don't like it. I'm not asking for advice. It's not for me, and that's okay. But trying sourdough, on the other hand, I found that was so much fun. I love the flavor of it. I love the texture of it. I love how cheap it is. So sourdough is something from scratch that I will keep making probably forever. Not to mention, you can also use the sourdough discard in other baked goods like rolls, tortillas, flatbreads, and things of that nature. But in the past, I have also made kombucha, ginger ale, mayonnaise, butter, plant butter, peanut butter, granola, and so much more. And I've also made a lot of non-edible stuff from scratch, some DIYs before. Out of old fabric, I've made produce bags. I have recycled paper at home. I have made artwork from around the house out of trash. So try your hand at some DIYs to save some waste. Keeping it in the DIY realm, mending is another very favorite of my zero waste habits, strictly because of the money saving. Mending easily saves me $500 to $1,000 every single year. By repairing our items, we now don't have to replace them with something new or secondhand, and it gets to stay out of the landfill. This for me includes sewing dog toys, patching jeans, dyeing stained items, embroidering over a hole, wood gluing furniture back together, super gluing stuff, and so forth. Now there are some things that I simply cannot repair myself just because it's a skill issue. For example, shoes. If my shoes need resoled, I'll take them to a cobbler. I need something like very fancy hemmed, like a wedding dress, for example. I'm not doing that myself. I'm gonna take that to a tailor. Dan's really good at doing like mechanical stuff on our truck, but if there's something really major that needs done, we'll take it to a shop. So repairing doesn't mean that you have to do it all yourself. You can have someone else do the repairing for you. Professionals are always available to help you fix stuff like tech and broken screens and cars and lawnmowers and refrigerators. So hire someone to help you out. Yes, it's gonna cost some money, but honestly, the cost of, for example, repairing my phone screen that we ran over, ripped my phone in October 2023. You know, a new iPhone, what is that, like $1,000? But my phone screen I think was $200. So yes, it was still a lot of money. It was very unfortunate to have to make that repair. A new phone screen is cheaper than a whole new phone. As I already mentioned, I do have a tiny little balcony garden, and I have attempted to garden in the past. So I put attempting to garden as one of my favorite eco habits. I would love to be able to fully say, yes, gardening is one of my favorite eco habits, but for me, so far, it has just been attempts. I think the only thing that I have successfully grown from seed to maturity was a sunflower, and that was it. I have tried bell peppers and tomatoes. I've tried basil so many times. I can't get basil to grow. If you have basil secrets, please spill them. I love basil so much. It's my dream to have a big, huge, vibrant, thriving basil bush. And honestly, I think a lot of this comes down to I've never really had a good yard and a good climate to be able to do this. Yes, we had a pretty decent sized yard in Las Vegas that we were renting from, but Las Vegas isn't necessarily the best gardening climate. And then after Las Vegas, we lived in an RV for a year and a half, and you can't garden in an RV. You can have a couple pots, and we did have a couple houseplants. We still have them here, but growing edible food is a very different thing in an RV. And now I'm finally trying it again. We have a balcony, so we are still doing it in pots, but I'm starting with some green beans. I'm starting with some strawberries. I would love to try a tomato plant again. I think we finally live in a climate that's good enough that won't require me to do a whole bunch of like research and care. But it has been fun to play around. It's been fun to play in the dirt and just try things. And if you are committed to gardening, there are a lot better resources out there than I could ever be. It is a great way to connect with the land, connect with your food, learn about plants, try new things, and hopefully at the end you will have the reward of some tasty food that you grew yourself. If I get even one strawberry from my strawberry plant, I will be happy. Another absolute favorite of mine is reading, and not just reading, but reading specifically with my library card. Because yes, reading is an eco thing to do. You can learn about so many different topics about climate change, zero waste, and politics while reading. And it's even more eco-friendly if you borrow those books. It's how I've learned about so many different topics, such as mining using enslavement in the Congo to make our tech, to climate optimism to overconsumption, and also tech billionaires who are destroying the planet. And you can check out my full list of recommended books in this video and also in the link down below. And of course, using your local library is the best way that you can read sustainably. Libraries are free, and the act of borrowing ensures that new things are not created and old things are not disposed of. We can all borrow the same resources over and over again instead of everyone trying to claim it all for their own. You can learn more about why I love libraries personally, but also why libraries are so good for the economy and for the planet in this video. And I'm so excited. I'm heading to the library after this to go pick up Mockingjay Part 1. I just reread all of the Hunger Games books. I'm now watching all of the movies. And honestly, I was tempted to buy all of the movies because I want to own them. I love these movies so much. But I thought I can borrow them endlessly for free at the library. So every time I want to watch them, I'll just head to my library instead. For me, shopping at the refill store has become so fun. We've had access to bulk stores on and off in Las Vegas and in Spokane and in Minnesota. I hesitate to say that because we did have a bulk store in Minnesota. in Minneapolis. We lived 5 hours from Minneapolis. Visited Minneapolis. We went up to go live in the woods. We visited Minneapolis halfway through our summer. We stocked up on our bulk goods. We went back up to go live in the North Woods. It wasn't really that accessible to us. Anyway, now my bulk store is within walking distance. It's so much fun. They are great about using my own containers. That was one of my frustrations when we used the bulk store in Las Vegas. They were not all trained on how to do the tear weights for the jars, so it made it very frustrating and time consuming to go to the refill store in Las Vegas. But here, no questions asked. They know precisely what to do. The process is so easy and smooth. They have everything we need. I love it so much. Yes, some of it is more expensive, but that's typically because it's organic and not because it's package free. Though not all of it costs more. I just paid the other day 28 cents for a whole jar of oregano. And I went to go check the shelf in the aisle, $5 for the same size jar. I saved $72? I saved nearly $5 whole by shopping at the bulk for just one product. I love that shopping at the refill store reduces plastic waste that can't be recycled, makes my pantry a little cuter and more organized, and also truly it does save me money. I think another aspect you have to look at when shopping at the refill store, quinoa for example. When you buy a bag of quinoa, you're only buying like a little bit, so it's gonna cost, a little bit. But when you're shopping a bigger jar of quinoa at the refill store, you're paying for more products. Therefore, it's gonna cost more. It's not necessarily more per ounce. It's not necessarily more per product. It's just because you're buying more volume of it. And lastly for today, reusing. I am a chronic reuser. It's partially because I'm a frugal zero waster, but I think this is also because of how I was raised, how my mom was raised, how her mom was raised, and this all like generational reusing has trickled down. My grandmothers all reused everything that they could, and I think it really did rub off on me from a young age. I'm talking they reused tinfoil, plastic forks and spoons, plastic bags, plastic sour cream tubs, you name it, it was reused. And quite frankly, I do the same. I wash and reuse tinfoil until it shreds to pieces. If I buy tortillas in a plastic bag, I'm gonna reuse that plastic bag. I currently have 4 sour cream containers in my refrigerator. None of them contain sour cream. Some of them contain cut up lime, some of them contain peaches, some of them contain cauliflower that I steamed for Denahi to eat. And also sometimes I reuse trash. Scrap pieces of paper, excellent to-do list, excellent grocery list. I'm looking at a pile of boxes right here that I have reused for storage. I've also been cutting cardboard into signs for protests, and also today I just cut up a bunch of cardboard to make into trash postcards to send to our trash government. And scraps of yarn get saved to use as stuffing. Similar to upcycling, get creative. You don't have to throw everything away. It might look like trash, it might seem like trash, but is it actually trash? New Netflix game coming to you. Forget, is this cake? Is this trash? Anyway, especially in this economy, use whatever you can, reuse whatever you can, keep it out of the landfill, save yourself some money, so many benefits to go around. Now, if all of this talk of saving money is intriguing, I highly encourage you to check out this series next on how much money a zero waste life saves me. It's full of zero waste swaps and habits alike. And let us know down below what your favorite zero waste habits are. Did you have any similarities to mine? Did you have any that I left out? And maybe I can make a part 2. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your time, especially if you made it all the way to the end. I truly, truly appreciate it. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. But until then, remember that your small actions make a big difference in the long run. Bye, guys. Library time, let's go. No. Talk about all sorts of things, zero waste. So yeah, that was really good. Really, really good. Don't include that.